My name is Solomon Balagawi, and I'm the research officer with the New South Wales Department of Primary Industries. We basically, in this lab, we do post-harvest research looking at fruit fly and how to manage fruit flies in the field. Therefore, it's important to find a way that we can detect fruit flies before the fruits are exported or to domestic or international markets. Traditionally, we have to detect fruit flies in a fruit. We usually incubate the fruit for over 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks you see a maggot or a pupa coming out of it, then you know it's infested. So one of the techniques that has been used in some parts of the world, including Canada, as well as the US, to try and detect fruit flies before the fruits are exported, is called brown sugar flotation techniques. This test involves mixing brown sugar with water, and then you crush the fruits, cherry fruits, suspend them into the brown sugar solution, and you will see eggs or maggots inside the fruit floating. By then looking over the solution to see the eggs and maggots, you quickly know that that fruit has been infested if there's any eggs or larvae. So there have been 2 projects. This is the second project, but initially we worked on one of the first phase of the project was trying to see if the brown sugar flotation technique can be used for detecting Queensland fruit fly and Mediterranean fruit fly eggs or larvae inside a fruit, cherry fruit. So now the next phase of the project is to then bring that technique out to the growers.
I'm Dr. Jenny Edmund from Applied Horticultural Research, and I'm leading the project on implementation of brown sugar flotation for detection of fruit fly in cherries. So this project has 2 main purposes. One of them relates to the fact that cherries are not really a very good host for fruit flies. So even though we can infest them very easily in the laboratory, you simply put the cherries on and fruit flies lay eggs like crazy, but in actual orchards you hardly ever find fruit flies, and it's partly because probably we harvest cherries quite early during the summer before populations build up. They don't produce volatiles where they're ripening. There may be something to do with the colour. Whatever the reason, you hardly ever find fruit flies in cherries. What we really need is some data to show that you hardly ever find fruit flies in cherries. If we can show that infestation rates are really, really low, as we believe they are, then that is a very useful tool. The second part of this is that this is a way for growers, if they are concerned that there are fruit flies present in the orchard through their trapping programs, then they can see if there are fruit flies in that fruit, and then they can make decisions about where to market that product. That's why the reason for the brown sugar flotation as a quick and fairly easy way for growers to do their own tests to see if there are eggs or larvae in the fruit. So let's just go through the procedure. When you're mixing up the brown sugar, do you need to use hot water?
Definitely. Hot water is very important in terms of it dissolving the sugar. So firstly we have to mix with hot water. For this we're using 4 kilograms of brown sugar to 20 liters of hot water.
Okay.
Stir it, mix it, and make sure that all the sugar has been dissolved.
So what sort of level of bricks does that give you?
Again, the level of bricks using the refractometer when you measure is critical. So for now, we've tested it, and anything 16% bricks and above, it's exactly giving us a very good
So
result.
that's when the larvae and the eggs will float at above 16 degrees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that means that you can spot them in the solution.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So when we're putting them through the crusher, we need the plates to be close enough together that we make sure that every cherry is split open and any eggs and larvae can come out.
Yes. That gap between the lever of the cherry crusher and the ridges along the cylinder is very critical. You have to make sure anything between 5 mils and 3 mils are good for us. So when they squeeze them, they squeeze the fruit so that all the eggs and larvae can come out. So make sure when you use it, prior to using it, make sure you measure it to see there are no more than 5.
Yep.
Or even less than 3 will have a problem of the seeds so
Yeah.
in between there.
So then they're crushing them into a nice dark coloured container so that everything is dark and it makes it easy to see the white larvae and the white eggs, right?
Exactly.
And then they should leave it for a few minutes just to let the bubbles go a little bit and make it easier to see.
Exactly. Those are we might think they are simple things, but those are critical things for you to actually identify the eggs inside the brown sugar solution, where the gap that we are crossing, once you pour the sugar in, you have to leave it, because once you pour it, there'll be a lot of bubbles coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So let the bubbles settle off and break apart, and you'll see a nice, clear, dark brown sugar solution in a dark container. Because the dark container also gives extra shading for the white eggs and white larvae to stand out, so you can have a clear view of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's important too because they're going to be really small, aren't they? Like the eggs are only 1 millimetre long, perhaps, and the larvae can be a bit bigger, but we're not likely to see any really mature larvae, are we? Because those fruit would be so deteriorated that you wouldn't even pick them.
Yes.
So, most likely, if we found any, they would be quite young larvae, and so you need to look very carefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's critical as well. So those of us who have bad eyesight, you have to always have a simple hand lens.
Yes.
Or you go to the paint shops, you can still buy those about 12 centimeter diameter lenses and put them across
Yep.
over the solution to help you see those eggs.
Yeah. And if they do find one, then just to make sure it is a fruit fly larvae, it can be useful to have a little digital microscope. So these can be really cheap and you can see it very clearly then and make sure that it really is a fruit fly larvae. It's not a caterpillar or some sort of midge or something like that. But that's the sort of thing that we can show when we do the trainings.